경기장 도시형.
All right, guys, here we are on Antigua Shipyard, and in the pink on the right side of the map. You know, I've noticed that he loves using pink for his color when he has a choice. It is FXO.asd, formerly Nuclear FOU.
Yes, it is.
No, sir. And on the left side of the map, in the red, from the team OGS, former Brood War Pro 4GG, it is now Finn.
All right.
Not as in over in French, but it is just the player named Finn.
Finn. Yeah. Well, do we know? I mean, like, why he chose that name in particular? I actually am not sure of the backstory there, so.
Well, you know, 4GG, you know, he's playing for the GG. Finn does. I'm not, like, I don't really know French very well, but I'm pretty sure Finn is, like, the end, right?
Yes.
In French,
yeah, I'm almost positive.
So maybe it is connected there. Maybe he's like, I'm the game ender.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. So, although sometimes it seems like Korean players will just take arbitrary English words and stick them as their name.
Like Nestea?
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah.
Which is awesome because I don't know why actually Nestea, like the company, the drink, doesn't throw a bunch of money behind him all the time. But
no kidding,
anyway,
man.
He's a walking advertisement. So let's see here. As Finn decides to go gas first, and ASD, on the other hand, is just going to go a little more traditional barracks first.
Yep, Banshee openings are quite popular these days, but it could just be a fast factory for reactored Hellions as well. Interestingly enough, too, we've been seeing players even once in a while going for Blue Flame early on in TVT, which is something that really fell out of popularity after the nerf to Pre-Igniter, where Blue Flame Hellions did only +5 extra damage to light units down to +10. So, yeah, TVT did change significantly after that. Mech was getting very popular, dropped off for a while. Now we're seeing Mech kind of sort of come back a little bit. So you really just don't know what to expect in TVT, and that's one of the reasons why I love it so much.
Yeah.
It's my favorite mirror matchup by far.
You know, because when we were in that stage where it was just Blue Flame Hellion was kind of the overwhelming strategy, especially when you would have strategies just revolve around Blue Flame Hellion Viking.
Or just Blue Flame Hellion drops, and it's like, well, it looks like I killed all your workers. I guess that's the end of the game. It's like, it's fun 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, fun 5 minutes, or fun, oh, we each killed down to like 2 workers apiece. Now it's going to take an hour to macro back up.
Seriously.
Because I've seen games like that. That's annoying. But no, there was a, you know, there was a time, though, when mech was getting kind of popular because the only time it developed was when that stalemated. And when that stalemated, you had a bunch of factories already. So you're like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and go into mech anyway. But it wasn't as naturally occurring as it is now. And you made a great point when you said you just don't know what you're going to see at any given point in time. That's what makes this a fun matchup. And I like this era of TVT, I guess.
Well, both of these guys going for a tech-heavy matchup as well. It's not like we've got Marine King in the game, because if we did, we'd probably see Owen-Rax expand. And, oh, that SCV is barely going to sneak away.
Yeah.
Nice control there by ASD, kind of juking out of the way of that. And, oh, what is it going to be? Is it going to actually be Blue Flame Hellion? It is. Ooh. Wow, all right. Yeah, I mean, it surprises me so much that this is coming back, because they don't two-shot workers anymore. They do, of course, do more damage to Marines, but seeing this makes me wonder if we're going to see some sort of heavy one-base play from Finn, actually. So I have to keep an eye on that. Looks like a fast command center. Reactored Hellions, actually, from ASD.
And let's see here. Switches things up a bit. There's second gas and a starport on the way right now as well.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, I mean, Finn is actually expanding out of this as well, so both players are going for pretty quick expansion now. And I said just a few seconds ago that I was like, Blue Flame Hellions used to hate those days. No, when it naturally occurs like this, though, is it's one of many possibilities in a matchup. It's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like it will be potentially a Blue Flame Hellion drop even as well. We do see the starport coming out there. Might see a medevac coming out of that soon. And looks like it might just be a regular old Marine and Hellion drop here for ASD. No, actually, I take it back. He might just be going, yeah, he's just going for Marine Tank Viking. All right, just for a very solid early expand build. Just keeps you very safe. This is kind of the I would say the quote-unquote one of the safest openings you can do in TVT if you want to expand quickly.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at how Finn's going to follow this up. Looks like he does have a Viking coming out first of all, so it's not going to be right away with a drop or anything along those lines. Not a matter of fact, just the Viking for now. Both players' command centers quickly finishing up. They are done now. ASD, of course, was a little bit ahead, so his orbital command is almost finished, but neither player going to be at a huge disadvantage here in terms of their expansion time one way or another.
Yeah, well, Finn is kind of like, well, I'm going for these Blue Flame Hellions, so I need to prepare for things that can kill me. enemy, and that would be, in this case, Banshees. So getting that Viking out there kind of keeps you more or less Banshee-proof. You know, if he saves this, a little bit of energy as well, then you're totally fine against something like that. Oh, and a Raven coming out for Finn. That's interesting. So either he thinks his opponent is going Cloak Banshee, or we might see a preparation for a mech transition out of him.
Oh, Finn's got to watch out. He could roast a lot of Marines here, but he may lose a lot in return. Actually gets 3 kills there, walks away for free. He'll have to repair up a bit, but that's about all.
Does not cancel the Raven either, even though he knows it's not going to be Cloak Banshees at this point. And a Raven from... okay, yeah, that Raven is from Finn. Never mind.
Yes.
I totally got their colors confused, apparently.
It's all right.
That's always fun.
Well, we do have Stim and Marauders now coming up for ASD. What is he adding onto this? More barracks all the time. So 2 more barracks coming out. Finn has not added any more production structures. I didn't know if he was going to add another. Yeah, I thought he was going to add another factory. There it is.
2 more
There's factories
right
2
there.
and 3.
Yeah, when you see that Raven, it's nearly always going to be mech, because you need something to defend against Marauders in the early stages of the mid-game. So yeah, Finn going classic TVT mech here, although the Blue Flame Hellions early on are kind of a nice touch there.
Yeah, that is an awful lot of Hellions though already, so
you need them.
Favoring those at the beginning, they can just tear through Marines. Even with that nerf to their damage way back when, they can tear through a huge number of Marines very quickly.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yep. And later on in the game, you'll need to have a big amount of Hellions generally to buffer for your siege tanks as well. So it's important to get that Hellion count high when you're playing mech, and try to keep it high as best you can throughout the game.
So pretty classic bio versus mech TVT matchup here. And we're going to see who's going to win out in a bit. We're waiting for our first tanks, I believe, to come out from Finn as well. Yeah, it's just been nothing but Hellions up to now. There we go. Tank number 1 finally hitting the field.
Yep, probably going to be starting siege mode pretty soon, too. He might decide to throw down an armory and get upgrades going. We'll have to see what route he decides to take with that. Yeah, just doing the second tank right away. Don't want to just leave one of those factories sitting there. And, yeah, it's just going to be bio. So, yeah, like you mentioned earlier, classic bio versus mech. Cross positions on Antigua Shipyard. This should be a very, very cool TVT.
Yeah, well, it could certainly last quite a while as well. We'll see here, though, as I'm more curious when both players are going to decide to take their next expansions. Whether it's
when it's safe.
Yes.
Kind of the rule of thumb with TVT.
The ASD is probably more likely to do this behind some pressure, as he has mobile bio units sitting overhead. And let's go ahead and take a look now as 2 tanks, 2 Hellions, 2 Vikings being produced at a time for Finn. Dukes is wild right now. And ASD, on the other hand, he is finally putting up another command center right next to his natural.
Yep, that's right. He's going to try to expand here. Generally with bio, you want to out-expand your opponent because you're not going to really be able to take your opponent head-on with bio against mech in a lot of cases. So you need to take a lot of expansions, and you need to just be really active around the map. And we already see him doing that. He's already out in the middle of the map. He's not sitting in his base. Doing all the right things. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see him go down and kill the rocks outside of Finn's third just for some preparation later on. So yeah, both these guys playing their styles quite well. Finn, on the other hand, we see playing very passively, you know, just kind of sitting around. I feel like he could be a little bit more active with his Hellions out there, but you have to be a little bit careful. Yeah, there you go, killing the rocks. ASD's playing perfectly. And yeah, so right now, I mean, we don't really have any sort of indication of where things are going to go from here in terms of, you know, who's ahead of who. I'd say they're both very even right now.
And of course, the expansion for ASD is going to be done so quickly, though.
Yep.
And Finn's really got to make this count as he's starting to move out on the map. He does take the high ground. There's a pack of Marauders and Marines running around.
Oh, this could be bad for ASD. We'll have to see. The Marauders are in a good position here, but there's so many tanks. Yeah, the medevac getting taken out as well.
Yeah.
Look at that. There's way too many Hellions.
Doing a very nice job picking off those medevacs right away. Finn with great positioning on those Vikings.
Wow.
Yeah, bye-bye, Marauders. I don't care if you're really, really good against Hellions. There's just way too much stuff there for Finn.
Yep, absolutely. A huge blow to ASD's army there. Got a little bit trapped out of position. And now Finn has a ridiculously strong push if he wants to do it. Generally with mech, you move out at around 150 supply. You can see he's at 141 right now. ASD, though, has produced a couple tanks. So Finn will need to approach this cautiously.
All right, well, Finn, he's got quite a bit of stuff on the ground. He's just power right ahead. and powers right ahead into a bunch of tanks. Hasn't set them up himself. He's just going to try and move on through. ASD moves some units around the side, but he didn't move them in right away. Point defense drone did hit, neutralizing some of those Marauders for quite a long period of time. oGs.Fin has lost every single one of his Marauders, but lands his Vikings, moves up the siege tanks, and considers that it's okay, as he's just going to push on ahead.
Yep, that's right. He needs to flip those Vikings off again. There we go. All right, so now ASD has Finn basically contained. Oh, killing the Medivacs too.
Yeah.
Finn is just leagues ahead of his opponent right now, sieging up that main. And yeah, now ASD is in the position every Bioterran never wants to be in, which is in a position where your production buildings are under fire and you just cannot break out because of the amount of siege tanks outside your base.
And look at that, 2 more Medivacs on the way now, but because of the way that Finn's just sitting right overhead, they're not going to get out for a second before they die.
Well, he knows the only chance that ASD really would have would be to drop Marauders on his siege tank, so yeah, he's going to camp that starport like crazy, man. He's not going to let anything come out of there.
Yeah, this is not a first-person shooter. Camping is certainly allowed and is encouraged.
That's right.
As, yeah, that may be... Yep, where goes down 1 Medivac. The second is going to fall here in a second as well. He can take the loss of a couple of Vikings. Won't be that big of a deal. Wonder why he's so afraid of just the 2 Marines. But
he's playing it careful. Oh, that starport's gone, though.
Yeah, it is. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Oh, wow, all the production is, actually.
Yeah.
Anything else coming up for ASD right now? A little bit inside of his natural. He's producing 3 more barracks right now. He's got a long way to go before he can ever get back into this game.
Well, we can see behind all this, Finn has expanded. He's taking his 2 gas at his natural. He's getting his armory up for upgrades. But really, the game is going to be pretty close to over in most cases. Finn's got a great contain on ASD, and yeah, his only chance is to maybe do some sort of crazy drop on top of the tanks, clean them up that way. Yeah, it's going to be really tough. ASD's probably going to have to pull his SCVs and go on and try to break out of this, but things don't look too good.
Yeah, that is really, really tough. Has looks like Finn actually just getting +1 weapons right now, as I think about it, adding in 2 more factories as well, so should be up to 5 here momentarily.
Oh, I love using the barracks for vision, too.
Yeah, and he's able to get those crucial first shots off as well. A few bio units making their way out, but that alone is not going to be enough. Another tank going to fall here, I think. Oh, I thought that one was in range. Must have just been taking splash fire before.
Yeah, I thought it was close. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Finn finds the command center trying to make a run for it, too. He's like, no, you're not going to hide that thing.
Yeah, those are going to land just a second, and bye-bye command center. Looks even keeps 3 of them up just so he can't lift off once again.
Yep.
All right.
Man, Finn is playing this great.
Yes, he is, as a matter of fact. Wait, I think we had a medevac get out because...
I don't believe we... No, maybe
there was a group
did.
of bio units here with a medevac, but even if it did, it probably didn't make it all that far.
Command center was taken out by the Vikings, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And, yep, 70 supply ahead is oGs.Fin. Looks like he's got this game pretty much wrapped up. He doesn't need to break up the ramp or anything like that. I know some people out there are like, well, why doesn't he just end it? It's good because he doesn't need to. You know, he just has to kind of wait for his opponent to leave. At this point, looks like he's going to push a little bit at the natural.
Yeah, it could very well. It looks like he's just setting up a better tank position right now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing that ASD can do to break out of this right now. Quite literally nothing. So Finn doesn't, I mean, unless Finn overextends himself, like you were saying. So
keep an eye on drops there. He's got Vikings out in position.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's his biggest concern is those medevacs. If he can control the medevac population, he will have no problem winning this game. Well,
let's see here. Tanks are slowly moving up a little bit further.
Here
he goes. ASD just trying to break out, but there's so many tanks and Hellions there. And the Hellions are just roasting the Marines in half.
GG.
There's the GG. oGs takes game number 3 here. Sets them up 2-1 in this best of 9.